Hola, hola. My name is Ramon, cosmetic formulator and sunscreen fanatic, and today we're talking about a very highly requested video, verified, certified Korean sunscreens. If you're not aware, at the end of 2020, there was a situation where the SPF values of a lot of Korean sunscreens were called into question. And first of all, I just want to say, this is not an isolated incident that is solely focused in Korea. We've seen this happen before with Australian sunscreens, American sunscreens, European sunscreens, first and foremost. And so just note, this wasn't like a one-time deal that was isolated to Korea. Second of all, to kind of explain in a very basic way what happened, basically brands are going to manufacturers who had these sunscreen formulations. The initial versions of those formulations were tested and approved by the Korean regulatory system at specific SPF values, but due to modifications on both the manufacturer and brand's parts, the final SPF product that was launched had a substantially lower SPF value than the original formula that the manufacturer themselves was selling to the brands. A lot of people kind of saw these formulations, were kind of questioning, well, with so few filters and such a small amount of the filters, like how is this SPF value possible? That's because the original formulation had a couple other things to them that the final product did not have. And as the SPF value showed, a lot of them were substantially lower than advertised. And so with that happening, a lot of brands pulled their sunscreen products, reformulated, and have relaunched their sunscreens. And so Style Korean actually reached out and they're like, hey, we have a handful of sunscreens we'd like to send you. We have gotten verification certification from one, if not two, third-party sunscreen testing facilities, showcasing that these sunscreens have either the exact amount or exceeding the amount of SPF value advertised. And so with that, I am sharing some chemical and some mineral Korean sunscreen options that have verified, certified SPF and PA values. Based off what you're looking for, I'll have timestamps below for either the chemical sunscreen section or the mineral sunscreen section. Explaining how I'm going to do it, you're going to see application footage of each individual sunscreen where I applied the appropriate amounts, which for my face, I've measured it, is 0.8 grams. Work it in, let it sit down for 5 minutes, and you're going to see what the finish is like, and then I'll explain the overall experience behind the sunscreen. I will also show you what the SPF certification values are as well on screen, as well as just general formulation points. So first sunscreen we're starting out with is actually one that's been around for a minute. It's low-key a cult classic, and I don't know if this was reformulated or not, and I know people were calling it into question, and I'm very happy to announce that it meets, if not exceeds, the SPF value that is advertised, and that is the CosRX Aloe Soothing Sun Cream. I have used this sunscreen, no exaggeration, for at least the last 5 or 6 years on and off. It is one I just come back to. It's a formula that works really great for my skin type, my skin concerns. It's just a really great, affordable sunscreen. Explaining some of the claims of the sunscreen, it's a sunscreen that combines hydration and sun protection with SPF 50+, PA3+, confirmed, and aloe leaf extract to keep skin moisturized even on the hottest day. In my opinion, it's something that's a really great option for problematic skin, oily skin, acne-prone skin. Filters, this has octinoxate, tinosorb S, insulazole, amyloxate, and titanium dioxide, which you would never be able to tell because this is a very, very elegant sunscreen, has no white cast on me, and I believe it's fairly melanin friendly. And I can confirm it's above an SPF 50+. Specifically, the Korean Dermatology Institute tested it at an SPF of 54.5, and then JS Hamilton, which is a Polish third-party sunscreen tester, found it to be up to an SPF of 52.2, so definitely above that SPF 50. And then formulation points, it has 5,500 parts per million of aloe leaf extract, tocopherol acetate, which is a really great antioxidant, and vitamin E. You have licorice extract, which I think is what makes this a really great option. It's a soothing ingredient. It also really helps to regulate sebum production, so that's why, in my opinion, it's a really great option for oily, acne-prone skin. This one does have fragrance and alcohol, though, but you really could not tell that it has alcohol because it's a very nicely moisturizing texture. Having oily skin, this is my moisturizer. If you have dry skin, just pair it with another moisturizer underneath. You're going to be golden. But it does have a very nice light scent that does dissipate. This is one of my favorites and why I've used it for so long in terms of how it preps for makeup. I don't know what it does. It just makes your makeup last all day. It looks so good. Even at the end of 8 hours, it's fully intact. And I have this very beautiful lit from within glow that's not greasy. Next, I have a sunscreen from a brand called, I believe it's TIAM or TIAM. I've never tried products from this brand before, but I was pleasantly surprised by the sunscreen. This is my signature Vita Red sunscreen, SPF 50+, PA3+. And looking at the claims, this is formulated with aloe leaf extract. This mild sun cream soothes irritated skin caused by UV exposure and provides SPF 50+, PA3+ protection, confirmed. This also has vitamin C, which helps give the skin a healthy glow, no white cast or sticky residue, Great for everyone in the family for all year long. This is literally the sister product to the Aloe Soothing Sun Cream. The formulation is so similar if you just go through ingredient by ingredient with minor variation. Filters, it has octinoxate, tinosorb S, ensilazole, amyloxate, and titanium dioxide, so same filters as the CosRX sunscreen. Specifically, the Korean Testing and Research Institute tested this at an SPF of 58, but this actually has a PA rating of 23. And so what I'm kind of a little bit lost at is that this advertises as a PA of 3+, but a PA value of above 16 is 4+. So in my mind, that's actually like fairly adequate daily UVA protection. So don't know why that's inconsistent. Again, like formulation points is very similar to the CosRX sunscreen. You have the aloe, the licorice, the tocopherol acetate. The main difference I will say is that this one has ascorbyl glucoside and ascorbic acid, which are vitamin C. That glucoside is a derivative, a really nice one that is very stable and has a lot of the same benefits as ascorbic acid. And then you have just straight ascorbic acid. And those are really great antioxidants that I love for in the daytime. So you have that vitamin C plus the vitamin E, really great daily sun protection antioxidant like boosters. This does also have alcohol and fragrance. This does not smell similar to the CosRX sunscreen though, but it does have very light, like fresh scent to it. It does also dissipate, but if you're looking for another option to try similar to this, TIAM's got you covered. Next from Neogen, and I believe this is actually a reformulation of their other daylight protection sunscreen. This is the Daylight Protection Airy Sunscreen, broad spectrum SPF 50. Looking at the claims, it has broad spectrum protection. This is an essence type texture. It applies smoother and lighter like a skincare fluid. This has 20 types of plant extracts and skin soothing and sebum controlling ingredients. It helps to moisturize and care for skin that's tired from sunlight. It provides a refreshing finish that quickly absorbs and is not cloudy or sticky. I do not know what cloudy means. I think they mean white cast. And really what the main difference is and what they're really trying to tout is that this has a more light, more essence-y texture to it compared to the other version. So it's going to be a much more lightweight, thin texture that also I think expands on some of the sebum controlling properties that the original version doesn't have. The filters in this, and the primary difference between this and the other one is that this only has avobenzone, octocrylene, and homosalate. And those are really great filters. Those are FDA approved filters. And that's avobenzone's UVA, octocrylene's UVB, and short length UVA rays. And then homosalate is UVB. This is SPF 50, though broad spectrum. This filter assortment is very common here in the US. For example, like Black Girl Sunscreen, I think has a very similar combination in their kids version. This does test at SPF 50 plus. Specifically, the Semyang University tested this at SPF of 54.4. Formulation notes on this one, there's no alcohol, but there are fragrance, there's fragrant compounds. As I mentioned, there are 20 types of plant extracts. Those botanical plant extracts can do everything from helping to soothe the skin, having antioxidant benefits, helping to hydrate or condition the skin, or also helping with that sebum controlling, sebum reduction benefits, which can kind of teeter on being a little bit more astringent. But that being said, this is a really great sunscreen, really nice light texture. It has a very natural finish, as you can see on screen. It is very airy, so they're very correct. And this is also a really good option because it is so lightweight to reapply on top of makeup as well. The only con for me is just the price point. This retails for $26. Next, getting into my top 2 sunscreens from this whole experience. First one I have is from a brand. I bought the original version back in November, and I had so many people telling me how great of a sunscreen it was that I was so hyped. And then unfortunately, it was in the mix of sunscreens that got called out for lower SPFs. The brand apologized, the brand pulled the product, the brand reformulated and relaunched. And with that, we have the Round Lab Birch Juice Moisturizing Sun Cream SPF 50 plus, the 2021 version. Looking at the claims, this replenishes dry skin and irritated skin with moisture. It's an essence type sunscreen that's similar to the original version. So I've like swatched them, I felt them. They are very similar in texture and feel and look on the skin. So if you like the OG version, rest assured the new version, exactly the same product. And in my opinion, it's a really great option for irritated, compromised, oily skin, dehydrated skin, but also because it is really hydrating. It's also a nice option if you pair it with a moisturizer for dry skin as well. Filters in this, you got Uvinol A+, Uvinol T150, so broad spectrum with those two. You also have Tinosorb M, which I have yet to see in a Korean sunscreen. That is a chemical filter that's a hybrid filter. It functions similar to a mineral filter in that it's technically a chemical filter by its composition, but it's an insoluble particle that has to be suspended in formulation. So I've never seen that in a Korean sunscreen as of yet. And then also a filter that can either be called isotrisonol or Uvinol HEB, which I have never seen or heard of before this sunscreen, not even in European sunscreens. A lot of really innovative filters put together. I believe all these have very good safety profiles, sensitivity profiles. So if you have sensitive skin, this could still be a good option. What I like about these filters is you can use them at low concentrations and still achieve very high SPF, which they did. This is approved above SPF 50 plus, PA4 plus. Specifically, Insuk An from the Korean Institute of Dermatological Sciences came out with a video where she retested the reformulated version, and she did confirm this to be SPF 50 plus, PA4 plus. She didn't release actual results or values, but They are an institution that's authorized to test sunscreens in Korea. With the reformulation, she did approve it above the advertised value. Ingredients wise, you have birch sap, which is the namesake for this, as well as hyaluronic acid, which aid in hydration. You have purslane, which is one of my favorite ingredients, which is antioxidant and barrier strength. Niacinamide, ascorbic acid, adenosine, licorice extract, which we saw in the CosRX sunscreen, allantoin, chamomile oil. So a lot of really nice soothing, barrier repairing ingredients, barrier strengthening ingredients. There's no alcohol, fragrance, or essential oils per se. Chamomile oil is in there, for example. To me, that's not a fragrant compound. It's oil extracted from the chamomile flower, which aids in more like anti-inflammatory benefits. But there's no perfume or fragrance or denatured alcohol, ethanol in this. So that's why in my mind, this is a really good option if you do have sensitive or compromised skin. I've been taking this with me to ST school where we've been like in the heat of treatments. My skin is very compromised and this has felt great and really helps to soothe my skin, bring down inflammation. So I can also vouch for that. This gives me Neutrogena Hydro Boost, but just like a little bit richer, but without the dye, the fragrance, or the burning that's associated with that one. It's nicely moisturizing. It's very lightweight, very elegant texture to it, very nice feel. This is a Korean sunscreen, the house down. This preps the skin nicely for makeup and reapplies nicely on top of makeup as well. So very, very close second, if not tied for first place. But the first place sunscreen, and one I mentioned before, and one I was very, very happy to see get confirmed and approved SPF testing results from Isntree, their hyaluronic acid watery sun gel. I've done a full review on this and mentioned it in a favorites video at least I think twice already. I'll have the cards for that up here. But this is just a really beautiful sunscreen from Isntree. Getting into the details, it's formulated with ceramides and 8 different kinds of hyaluronic acid to moisturize and firm the skin. Suitable for year-round use for all skin types, for everyone. And this is really just meant to deeply hydrate the skin. Again, 8 different molecular weights of hyaluronic acid. Help to strengthen the skin barrier, give you some antioxidant benefits, and help to soothe the skin as well. This was again confirmed by An from the Korean Institute of Dermatological Sciences to be at an SPF of 53.5 and a PA value of 19.4, so PA4+. So rest assured, this is a good sunscreen. What inspired this video actually was another creator called My Skin is Glass. I'll have his Instagram linked in the description box. He posted about this and saying it was approved, and I was like, wait, where'd you see that verification? And then he sent me Insect's video, which I've seen her videos before. I watched her content. And so seeing that, I was very relieved, and I was like, what other sunscreens have been approved? What other sunscreens have gotten that verification? And then Style Korean reached out like, oh, the same day or the day after. All the stars aligned to make this video, but this was the catalyst that started it and my #1 favorite from this entire video experience. If you have oily skin, this will leave a nice radiant glowy finish. That's not greasy, but it is radiant. So if you don't like that, just note. But this is deeply, deeply hydrating, super lightweight gel texture though. This has astaxanthin, which is a great antioxidant, as well as pecnogenol, another great antioxidant, centella, antioxidant and skin soothing, niacinamide, barrier repair and soothing, and adenosine, alcohol-free, fragrance-free, essential oil-free, must have. So with all those chemical sunscreens being out of the way, let's get into some mineral options, which I was really excited to have and to test and to mention just because Korean mineral sunscreens are, I think in my opinion, held to a higher standard. Korean sunscreens are so renowned for their elegance, and a lot of the mineral sunscreens I've tried from Korea have had decent positive results to them, so I was excited to try some more, especially if they're verified. And the first ones I have are from a very interesting brand called Tone 28. They are, in my opinion, what an American clean beauty brand would be, especially those that really focus on like sustainability and being like really organic, if that brand was based in Korea. Their packaging is super interesting. It comes in like highly sustainable, very recyclable packaging. This is the box the sunscreen comes in, and this is the sunscreen itself. It's a cardboard looking packaging that you basically disassemble it all. It's highly, highly recyclable once you clean out the insides. I have 2 versions from them. I have their B1 sunscreen. This one's intended for dry skin, and then their B2, and that's intended for oily skin. Starting with the B1, it's a deeply hydrating face sunscreen that contains centella to soothe the skin, as well as ingredients to help nourish and obviously moisturize. These are zinc-based sunscreens only, so that's the only UV filter. And these were approved to be at SPF 50 or a little bit above. Specifically, I have 2 results for this one. The first one from Semyoung University, which was tested at SPF 51, PA 16.2, so 4+. And then the second one from the Foundation of Korea Cosmetic Foundation Industry Institutes, say that 5 times fast, SPF 52, PA 4+ as well. Ingredients-wise, this has rosewater, jojoba oil, calendula, rosehip oil, baobab seed oil, beeswax, olive oil, and then madecassoside, asiaticoside, so centella derivatives, and vanilla and banana extract. As you can see on the application footage, I did a half face application application of this first, just to see if there's a white cast, how severe it would be. There is a white cast. Because this is for dry skin, this is rich. But what I will say, and one of the more positive notes of this experience with these sunscreens, even though this is for dry skin and it is rich, it's not greasy. There was a slight sheen on my hand. It's a moisturizing sunscreen. I can't really expect anything less. But the texture isn't oily, it's not greasy, it's not overly emollient, but it is kind of like a paste. And once you start working into the skin, I feel like it gets a little bit harder to work into the skin, and there's a white cast. There's no way around that. This is not brown skin friendly unless you're going to wear makeup. Makeup wears decently on top of this. I had no issues with that, but it just has a white cast and it's very, very rich, but non-greasy. So if you have dry skin, you want a mineral sunscreen that's moisturizing, but don't like feeling greasy and like heavy, potential option. Also, sustainability is a big factor for you. Another good point. My bigger con with the brand is that they really focus around being very organic and being very natural, which is not my tea, and there's a lot of fallacy in that. And also the fact that specifically with these, they really advertise these being good for protecting against high energy visible light, against blue light, and they really fearmonger around the blue light from your electronic devices and whatnot, which is a lot of fearmongering as well and greatly exaggerated. So just note that if you want a mineral sunscreen, you don't mind the white cast and you know it's verified, a good option to try. Second option I have is their B2 mineral sunscreen, and this is for oily skin types. Again, zinc is the only filter, approved at SPF 50 or just slightly above, specifically from Samyang University, SPF 51, PA 16.2, and then from the Foundation of Korea Cosmetic Industry Institute, SPF of 49, PA 4+. This has green tea water, jojoba oil, calendula, neem, mugwort, glycerin, betaine, madecassoside, asiaticoside, and then banana and vanilla extract as well again. Both of these are alcohol, fragrance, essential oil free, so I don't know if those are supposed to lend a fragrance. To me, they don't smell like anything. The primary difference between the B1 and B2 is that this one comes out a little bit more as a gel texture. It's a bit more lightweight, but once you work into the skin, as you can see on the half face application, still a white cast, still a little bit rich in terms of like how it feels on the skin. It's not oily or greasy at all as well, but it has body to it. It is moisturizing as well. I can see why it is oily skin appropriate, but they're not brown skin friendly in the least, so just note that. Also, they are $34, which is excessive, especially because these are only 50 ml, 1.58 fluid ounces. So they are expensive, and my biggest con is just I feel like they're really hyping up that clean, natural, organic, and you're paying the price for that. So next is one I was really excited to try from Benton. This is the Mineral Sun Stick. I've been wanting to try out Benton sunscreens. I bought the fluid sunscreen, the cream sunscreen, which then got discontinued, but then I was really excited when Style Korean was like, hey, we have the stick version, which was approved and certified at SPF 50 or above. So this is a mineral only sunscreen with only titanium dioxide, which I'll bring up in a minute when I explain why I'm surprised by that. And it's intended for sensitive skin, and it's intended to ensure you get really great protection. It has a lightweight, refreshing texture, and they really hype up that it has protection that lasts up to 12 hours. Please, if you're going to wear sunscreen for a long time, reapply every few hours, especially if you're outside. Don't bank on these sunscreens saying they'll last 6, 10, 8, 12 hours. This has titanium dioxide, but it was approved above an SPF 50, confirmed. The results I got actually didn't have an institute on them, but it had a result of SPF 56 and a PA of 22.3. Formulation-wise, this has purslane, 3 different types of hyaluronic acid, centella, allantoin, and panthenol, but it's also fragrance, alcohol, and essential oil free. That's why I think it's a great option for sensitive skin types, especially because it only features titanium dioxide, which has a even better safety profile than zinc oxide. Titanium dioxide only, how did it get such a high SPF value? I've explained how it's not the most broad spectrum filter, so that those values were very surprising to me. But also with the stick, how do you gauge how much to put on? For the testing, the application footage of this, what I did was I weighed the stick, find out how much it weighed, and then I kept applying it until I could tell that I had applied 0.8 grams based off the difference in weight from when I started to when I finished. The look on the skin is overall, I think, very positive. You tell me, I can't tell if there's much of a white cast. It feels amazing on the skin though. A very powdery, light, primary kind of finish. This preps the skin beautifully for makeup, very surprisingly. And so overall, a very positive experience. It's just a matter of when you think you've applied enough, keep applying more, just because I was very shocked at how much I kept applying to get that 0.8 grams. But it's very easy to travel with. It's super tiny. It's easy to work on the skin, no issue. I just generously rubbed this on my face, worked it in, did a few layers like that, and I was set. Minimal to no white cast on me. Overall, positive experience. And then the last mineral sunscreen I have is once again from Round Lab. This is the 365 Derma Relief from them. This is SPF 50+, PA 4+. And looking at the claims for this is a non-nano sunscreen intended to soothe the skin, be non-irritating, so good for sensitive skin types. Ceramides, which will help moisturize the skin. Panthenol, Titania cordata, and centella, which help to soothe the skin as well. And there's no white cast to this, so they claim. The filters in this are zinc oxide and titanium dioxide only, so mineral filters. And specifically, Insuk On featured this in her video as well. Again, she's from the Korean Institute of Dermatological Services. They tested this at SPF 60 with a PA of 18.5, so PA 4+. So very happy to hear about that. And then the other formulation points, this has panthenol, centella, Titania, ceramides, and pululan. Again, antioxidants, anti-inflammation. So really nice, soothing, creamy, lightweight, but still very moisturizing formulation. Being a mineral sunscreen, I was hesitant, especially considering the Tone 28 sunscreens and the success I had with those. This is a Korean mineral sunscreen. It's very, very elegant. It feels nice on the skin. It looks nice on the skin. As you can see in the application footage, I do a half face application. And at first I was a little bit concerned, but it like melts into the skin real nice. This looks really great on my skin. I couldn't clock any white cast, honestly, with that one initial application. It feels and looks really nice on the skin, as I mentioned, and it preps the skin really nicely for makeup. I had no issue with makeup application on top of this. So it's a very elegant, nice, lightweight sunscreen. The main issue is I would not reapply this over makeup, but also with reapplication, that's where I started to see a little bit more of an issue with white cast, if there was any, especially in the hairline, beard line, brows, and whatnot. So just be warned about that. But for initial application, this is a really nice option. And with that, those are some verified, certified Korean sunscreens that I was able to get from South Korean to share with you guys. Links for all these are going to be down below in the description box if you want to get your hands on any. Again, Brown Lab, hands down, some of the best sunscreens I tried this last couple months. Let me know down in the description box, have you tried any of these? Are any of these your favorites? Are you happy to see them on this list? But let me know also down below, have there been any other sunscreens that you personally enjoy that have also been verified at meeting the SPF that's advertised that you really think I should try out or share on the channel? Sign off in the comment section. Make sure you hit that notification bell and subscribe button so that you know when I post more skincare, verified sunscreen, and Fenty related content on my channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.